Hi guys, we're going to talk today about the notes on page 50. It's 59 in your binder. For some reason my numbering appears to be off. This is the section on learning how to solve absolute value equations and inequalities. You haven't done this before, and this is a little bit confusing. So if you need to listen to the video a couple times, there'll be a couple videos on this subject, and then we'll do some ones in class and also answer your questions. So let me review about absolute value before we actually truck on down there. Absolute value represents, so it represents distance. And distance is always positive. So you might want to write this somewhere where you can remember it. Distance is always positive. If I say the distance from New York to LA is about 3,000 miles, that's the same as LA to New York. Positive 3,000. One of those is not negative because distance is always positive. So when we look at this example right here, the absolute value of -4 is the distance. They are asking you, tell me the distance from -4 to 0 on the number line. So here's 0, here's -4, and the distance, how many units is -4 from 0? And the answer, of course, is +4. And you drop the absolute value sign. So x represents the coordinate of a point on a number line. In this case, -4. So when we actually get an equation that's got a variable inside the absolute value sign equaling something, an integer or a number, it means that whatever this x is on the inside of the absolute value sign, that it is +3 units from 0, because distance is always 0. So when we look at what the possibilities of x, what they could be, here's 0, and what integers are 3 units from 0. So the 3 is giving us the distance that we need to go in either direction. So if we go 3 units this way, we land right here. If we go 3 units this way, we land right here. Both of these are 3 units from 0. So the answer to our problem, and usually it's written in this funny little set notation, the answer to this equation is -3 or +3. Both of those numbers satisfy this equation. So let's do a couple more, and then we'll talk about the 3 scenarios that I'm setting up in examples A, B, and C down below for example number 1. So again, this is just like the example we just did. This says, tell me all of the values of x that are 4 units from 0. The distance is 4 from 0. So I'm starting at 0. I'm going 4 units, the distance of 4, and I'm going the distance of 4. And I have landed on 2 possibilities that if you plugged it in for x would make a true statement. So those numbers are -4 and +4. All numbers whose distance from 0 is 4 units. Let's look at the second example of B, for example, or part B for example number 1. Now I'm telling you, okay, now I want to know all of the possibilities that are 0 units from 0. Well, if you start on 0 and you don't move any units, you move 0 units, you are right there. And there's only one answer to this equation. 0 is the only number that when you plug it in here, it makes a true statement. And the last example, the part C for number 1, says, tell me all the numbers whose distance from 0 is -3 units. Automatically, you are thinking, alert, alarm, distance is always positive. So in this case, they're saying distance needs to be equal to -3, and that's not possible. So this is an instance where there is no solution that makes this equation true. So reviewing really quickly, we've got 3 different possibilities when we have the absolute value on one side of the equal sign and a number on the other. One, like example number A, is you get 2 answers that both work. And that was, let me move this guy up here. That was 4 and -4. And up above, when we did this little example, it was 3 and -3. There were actually 2 solutions. The second type is when you are asking to find numbers that have a distance from 0 of 0. There's only one answer. And the third scenario is that you are being asked to find a distance that's a negative number, and that's not possible. So there is no solution. So this is the first type of solving of absolute value equations that we're learning about, and there is more to come. So be sure that you're comfortable with this before we move on, and if you need to ask me questions, bring them to class. Thanks for watching.